What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd go over and talk about how we got started in ball pythons and how we caught the bug, right? And where we are now. All right, growing up, I've always had a interest in reptiles. Just a strange attraction to them. We'd go to the Dallas Zoo or the Oklahoma City Zoo, and reptiles were the point where I was waiting for. I was waiting to go see the reptiles. That's what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, my mom didn't like reptiles. She was scared of them, didn't want snakes. And so I didn't get any growing up. And then when I got into about high school, we ended up moving into government housing. And they're really strict on what you can and can't do. And you would have to pay a freaking pet deposit for a snake. Plus my mom still wasn't having it. She didn't care. She was not getting convinced that I was going to get a reptile. Just was not going to happen. Snake is what I really wanted. So fast forward, let's see, that was high school. So let's fast forward about 5 years, about age 20, 21 now. I get with my wife. She was my girlfriend at first. And started talking to her about wanting a pet. I wanted a dog. I'm a real big dog person. We just didn't have a dog. We didn't have a dog, and I was wanting to get a dog. Well, she was kind of, I don't want to get a dog, because her and her husband that passed away, they bred pit bulls, and she just got sick and tired of dealing with the dogs and everything that came along with the dogs. And I said, you know what? How about a snake? She goes, snake, that could work. So I started doing what everybody else used to do. I didn't even go on Facebook back then. I went on Craigslist. This was back in March of 2011. I went to Craigslist and I saw normals. That's all I wanted. I wanted a normal. We ended up going to, we ended up driving to Rolette, Texas. Like 2.5 hours, and then 2.5 hours to another city to pick up the snake. First we picked up the aquarium to keep it in, then we picked up the snake, and then 2.5 hour drive back. Well, when we got there, we ended up buying one normal. Well, he had more normals, so we ended up getting two normals. Then he pulled out a pastel from the bag and said, hey, I still also got this male. There's a little bitty baby pastel. This is the male right here. He's all grown up. Of course, he was actually a female. He was sold to us as male, turned out to be a female, and she's actually laid one clutch for us in her, her time of being here. So she was our first morph, got us started, went home. I didn't know what the hell everything was. I said, pastel, what the hell's a pastel? Came home, started looking into everything, started seeing all these different colors and combos and the price tags. And I was like, this looks interesting. Maybe I could do this on the side, make some money on the side, and eventually do it full time and get away from my job. That's my goal anyways. Of course, we all know it takes time, right? So fast forward, I don't know, probably within a year, we had wood racks built, and I'll insert a picture real quick of what our reptile room used to look like. And we had wood racks all over the place, homemade. Everything was homemade from Sterilite bins, like everybody does, And then we just started progressing from there. Now our first big, collection deal or whatever, man, this is when we learned about mites and RI and how to deal with that crap. We had an 84 Chevy short wide truck. Well, my wife did before we got together. And we saw a collection down in the Dallas area that we wanted. And so we were like, yo, will you trade for this truck? He said, yeah. We went down there with a trailer, hauled the truck down there, and picked up the collection. Well, got the collection back home and found out one of the racks was like infested with mites. Bad mites. You could see them crawling all over the rack. Like, we just trashed that whole rack. There was no point. It didn't even come in the snake room. It come in the house, but I trashed it. We had anywhere between, I want to say 15 to 20 snakes that ended up getting respiratory infection. We were doing injections like every other day. We were treating these snakes for mites every other day because we ended up with like 17 or so snakes outbroke with mites. The mites, you know, they're going to stress the snake out even more, and they make them more susceptible to RI. And I'll tell you what, treating that many snakes for not only RI but mites, it is a pain in the ass. Not going to lie, it's a pain in the ass. So welcome to the hobby, right? That was our jump start into the hobby, was that collection deal that we did. And do I regret doing it? Yeah, but at the same time, we are where we are because of it. And actually, this female right here, this black pastel female, she was part of that collection. She came with the collection. I still got her. Actually, I was actually going to sell her. Then now she's at the front, bull wrapped, so I can't get rid of her yet. We're gonna see if we can get a clutch from her. Once I get a clutch, I'll probably get rid of her. I think she's the last one from that collection deal. So yeah, we had a fun and adventurous jumpstart to our ball python breeding career. So, but hey, it's all past us. That was 10 years ago, 9 years ago or so. It's done. We are here. We're here now, right? How we came up with that name and logo right there, Reptile Frenzy, is another story in itself. When we first started, we not only had ball pythons, we had, you know, I can't remember how many ball pythons we had, but we had ball pythons, we had a rose hair tarantula, we had 3 leopard geckos, 2 crested geckos, rats. What else did we have? We had 2 bearded dragons at the time, which we had to keep a 10-gallon aquarium, and we ordered 1,000 crickets at a time. Ended up getting sick and tired of that smell. My wife was. We ended up getting rid of the bearded dragons. We ended up getting rid of everything to just focus on. Hell, I even had a hognose at one time, but we ended up getting rid of everything to focus just on ball pythons. I had a couple retics at once. So with all those different animals, one day I was walking by the crested gecko enclosure and I was like, Reptile Frenzy. That just makes sense. It's crazy in here right now. We got all these animals all over the place, all these different species of animals. It's just kind of like a little frenzy going on. So it just popped in my head one day, Reptile Frenzy, and it's stuck ever since. Our logo design came from, we got the image off of iStock, I believe, or one of those royalty sites where you can buy an image and it's yours, nobody can use it, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't the way we wanted it. I know it's hard to see, but this logo, that snake, was actually a fanged snake. It had fangs, and we took the fangs off of it, and we also made that eye look up to make it look like, you know, it had googly eyes, like it was going crazy. That snake was. And of course, my favorite color is green. My wife's favorite color is purple. So green and purple. Green and purple, favorite colors. That's how we got the colors for our logo. And we haven't looked back since. You know, we came up with that name. I never questioned it once, and it stuck. So I didn't have any money to come into this. We basically bought some animals and raised them up, bred them, and just kept slowly putting extra money into the business as we could. You know, here and there as much as we could. Try to build our collection up as slow and as we could. You know, we kept collecting females. Of course, we had problems as far as I made stupid decisions. There was a video. I'll leave the link in one of those corners. Whatever corner it is, I'll leave a link to that video that I talked about going into debt. We went into debt and it stunted our growth. I believe we could probably be further along without that debt. Of course, it bought all these racks in the room. All these racks it bought. So it wasn't a total a waste. I mean, in a sense it jumped us, but in a sense it also stunted our growth because I was focusing more on that debt. So I was breeding animals that I wasn't willing to keep. I was having to breed animals to pay that debt back. And it just stunted our growth. So be careful about debt. only get into what you can handle. I went crazy, bought racks, bought animals, breeder females that didn't freaking breed for another 2 years because, you know, for our experience, we buy a breeder female, she ain't gonna lay for a year or two. Even though you want her to go that season, she probably is not going to lay. So between that, buying into projects not working out, y'all know how it is. It's an up and down roller coaster ride. But with those stupid mistakes and picking up animals that really didn't fit into our projects, we didn't really think it out. I was more focused on the money to repay my debt, because to be honest, we got into $30,000 in debt, and you know, I was able to pay that off within, I think, 3 or 4 years. When I say you're a slave to your debt, that's very true, because you can't do anything. Any kind of extra money, you're worried about throwing to your debt, because if you don't, your interest rates are going to kill you. So you got to pay it off, and you got to pay it off quick. So don't go into debt unless you can handle it. Really know what you can handle. So we just, over the years, collected snakes. Many trips back and forth to Dallas, about 2.5 hours. I think we were going every weekend for, I want to say, close to 3 months. We'd go pick up a snake, come back. Go pick up a snake, come back. So we were building our collection. There are definitely things I would do different if I had to start over. You know, I'd focus on building up females. Get a whole bunch of females that fit my projects. You know, think about your damn purchases, Mark. I would think about my purchases and make, you know, smart decisions. Like, I'm starting to do that. You saw that when we purchased the Super Gravel and that Highway Clown, you know, for the Highway Clown project. So I'm able to push animals out that I'm not needing right now and buy animals for the projects that, you know, we are actually working on, you know, trying to progress those. So I guess my final words or, you know, advice would be really focus on your projects, what direction you want to go. Really sit down and map this shit out. Don't free will it like I did. I just went out and bought shit because I wanted to buy shit, right? You know, I wanted to, oh, that animal is good, let's add it. Let's add that animal, let's add that animal. Of course, I had, you know, about a 50-50 mix of male to female. So try to focus on females, get your female collection going. I say buy babies and raise them. Of course, it's not bad to buy a subadult or adult, but just don't go into it thinking that snake is going to breed for you quick. When you buy an adult, just go into it thinking, I'm buying this adult, I'm gonna put her in a rack, I'm gonna get her settled in, and I'll breed her maybe not this fall, but the following fall. You know, now I'm not saying that she won't go, but with our experience, 99% of them don't go. Fucking sucks. So make sure that you're not getting, you know, too high hopes, getting yourself out there too far. These are live animals. They're going to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. So you're not going to, all you could do is, you know, care for them the best that you can and provide for them the best you can. Don't get into debt unless you can handle it. Pretty simple, right? 0% interest credit cards are great. They have 18-month credit cards, but make sure you can pay that balance off in 18 months. And even think worst case scenario, if you lost your job or whatever, would you be able to do it? Or if you're married, if one of y'all lost your job, would you still be able to handle that monthly payment? Because they're tricky. 0% interest credit cards are tricky. You might have 0% interest for the full 18 months, but at the end of 18 months, if you didn't pay it off, they're going to charge you interest on every month before that in one lump sum. It happened to me. Don't do it. Focus. Stay focused. Don't worry about what the other motherfucker next to you is doing. Don't worry what he's saying about you. If he's talking crap, let him talk it. You be you. You represent your animals in a good way. You take care of your animals, and all the bullshit will fall to the side. Remember, build relationships, not dollar signs. As always, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you find any value in this video, or no value in the video, leave it in the comments and below and let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, you know, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. There's some big things coming. Hopefully we'll have some clutches on the ground. Or, well, we got clutches on the ground. Hopefully, you know, we'll have more clutches on the ground soon. And the 2 clutches in the incubator should be hatching in June. So stay tuned for that. As always, take care, and we will catch you next week.